that all living entities are always bound by nature. However, there are two kinds of nature. There's material and there's spiritual. But no one except Krishna can ever be independent from nature, prakriti. Krishna is independent because he is the enjoyer. So, prakriti, Daivi prakriti, the divine nature, is enjoyed by him as Srimati Radharani. So, although Krishna, he willingly even comes under Radharani's control, he is still always independent. Sometimes he is also showing that. He will leave Radharani, leave her crying. But for the rest of us, we are in the position of servants. That is our nature. That's what it means to be bound by nature. We can never get free of our servitude. But we can choose whether we will serve matter or spirit, or Maya or Krishna. So we see among those living entities who have chosen to forget Krishna, nonetheless the symptoms of their servitude is fully manifest. They're always engaged in some form of worship, some form of service. As Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, there are 5 kinds, 5 divisions of non-Krishna worship. The lowest form is just to worship gross matter. And this is the religion of the material scientists. They're fascinated with matter. And they're always trying various experiments to see the wonderful effects of matter. So this is a form of religion. They have faith that matter will save them. They have faith that if we simply can somehow or other find the right relationship with matter, the right knowledge of matter, then this world, this material world, will become heaven. So they believe this very strongly. Therefore, in America, there is this science, so-called, of cryogenics. Where they freeze the dead body. Or if you don't have enough money for the whole body, they'll just freeze your head. And they keep it in the deep freeze, planning that in 100 years, they say, we think in 100 years, science will have found a way to cure all diseases and old age. And not only that, they all found a way to revive a dead body.
You
see? Some intelligent people protest that, wait a minute, when you freeze the body, then all the moisture, the liquid in all the cells of the body becomes hard and brittle. And when the body is again thawed out, when it's de-iced, then this ice, it breaks, it shatters, and all the cells in the body will be destroyed. How you revive that body? And the cryogenicists reply, no, in 100 years we will have microscopic robots. And each tiny microscopic robot will be programmed to reconstruct the cells. And we'll have a big, when we melt the ice in the body, we'll just have a big box of these little robots open, and they will come out. So this sounds more like science fiction than science. But they have strong faith. Therefore they spend millions of dollars. They put in a bank millions of dollars for when they die. That this millions of dollars will keep the body in the ice for 100 years. It so happened in some cases, because the money is in some family trust, and then the family has economic problems, they have to spend the money. Then the cryogenics company basically, sorry, and they pull the plug from the wall. Anyway, this is a religion. Then above these worshippers of gross matter, there are mystics who, after carefully studying matter, they conclude that the power that we see in matter is actually not in matter, but coming from somewhere beyond. But where beyond, they don't say, they don't like to say. It should be unknown. They like this. And they can gaze. Unknown. So also the impersonalists are included in this category. Some of the scientists, the greater scientists, they come to this state. After so much research of matter, they finally negate matter. And then higher than this are worshippers of demigods. It's considered higher because it's coming to a personal conclusion. But of course the demigods are not supreme. Then even higher than this are worshippers of an imagined inner deity. Prabhupada calls this philosophized Vishnu. In other words, there's acceptance of the idea of Paramatma. But there's not acceptance of what is being explained here in this purport. The proper way to approach the Lord by devotional service. So they want to approach the Lord by imagination. An imaginary meditation, some imaginary experience, hearing voices and getting guidance. So these people you can often meet. They seem very pious, religious. But then they start to talk about their realizations. And then you start to realize, maybe this person is crazy. And then the fifth stage of non-Krishna worship is worship of human beings or living entities. Now you might want to know, why is that? Why does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say that is the highest stage? It's even higher than the attempted Brahman worship or demigod worship or even so-called Paramatma worship. Because, and the answer is because when Krishna descends, how does he appear? Manusha Rupa, the form of person with two hands. So actually this is the highest form of Godhead. Krishna as cowherd boy. So that means the farmers are the highest form of human being. And Lord Krishna, yes, he's a simple village boy who likes to decorate himself with the flowers and the leaves that are growing in the countryside. And Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda are always in anxiety to take the best care of their darling son. And all the village girls, gopis, are totally in love with him. And Krishna has many wonderful and strong friends. And they go out every day into the fields, and while watching the cows, they play different games, they wrestle. And they have a picnic. And then at the evening, they bring the cows home. And all the gopis come out of their doors to look at Krishna. And then Krishna's going home to Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, taking dinner with them. And the older cowherd men, the fathers of the village, they all come over to Nanda Maharaj's house. And they sit and talk in the house in the evening after dinner and discuss all the topics of the village and the cows. And Krishna is there. and they all talk with Krishna. And then it's time to take rest. And that's when Krishna goes out the window. And he meets with the gopis in the forest. And they dance and sing and enjoy loving pastimes. So this is the transcendental lila of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's pervertedly reflected in the mundane affairs of human beings. So therefore, to worship human beings is the highest stage of non-Krishna worship. Which of course doesn't mean much because it's non-Krishna worship, but it's completely material. The Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the Mayavadis also, they come to this stage too. After they are tired of impersonal Brahman, it gets them nowhere. So then they start with worshipping the Guru as being God himself. He is the visible Brahman. And then once you start doing this, then everyone is Brahman. And then everything we do is lila. You see. So in this way, the Mayavadis are completely confused. We cannot tell the difference between the material world and the spiritual world. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is writing here in this purport that one should execute the meditation practice as stated above. One should not manufacture a way of meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but should follow the authorized Shastras and personalities. Yes. So in this world of Maya, it is so easy to go astray. So we have to sin. It sounds funny, but this is just what they say. And there's these sahajas say the same thing. These sahajas say that real faith in the holy name means you don't follow any other discipline except chanting. Because any other discipline will make you proud. If you control your senses, you'll just become puffed up. So you can only get the mercy of the holy name if you're very humble. So very humbly you should break all the regulative principles. And show that you're most fallen. Then the holy name will work on you. They give these arguments. And these are all produced out of the rascal mind. And we see the same thing is going on even now. There are persons who have left ISKCON, left this at this shelter of Srila Prabhupada, or even now they're leaving the shelter of the present gurus in ISKCON. And they make such kind of excuses. That I'm doing this nonsense because this is the secret teaching. You're still on the beginning stage. following these rules and regulations. But we are advanced. Anyway, I don't. It's so horrible. But what it means is they have not learned. They did not learn in the presence of their spiritual master to control their minds. So that we must learn.
In these verses, there is some explanation about this marks, Srivatsa, and also Jew Kaushtuva. I didn't saw on the picture of Vishnu or Krishna. There, on some picture, these marks are visible or not. In picture, which we know.
Yeah, well, on Kaushtuva is there. Kaushtuva is jewel Krishna wears on his throat. And so I don't know. You know, pictures. There's so many pictures. Some are, some are follow very carefully the description in Shastra, some don't. But from the description of Shastra, we should have a mental picture, meditative picture. This is the point here, meditation. So there's Kaushtuva, the jewel on the Lord's throat. And on his chest, there's Srivatsa, which Srila Prabhupada says appears as a golden line, or sometimes said a golden hair even. Which is actually Goddess Lakshmi. But with Lord Krishna, Goddess Lakshmi cannot have manifest pastimes. But still she's his wife. So she appears in that way. Therefore the gopis, they very much respect her. Because Krishna is dancing with them. But still the wife remains attached to her husband on the chest. She cannot dance and kiss Krishna with the gopis. She tries, she performs austerities to enter the rasa dance, but she cannot. And the reason she cannot is because she cannot help but think of him as her husband. Because it is a different mood. The gopis don't think of Krishna as their husband. And she cannot give that up. So she cannot join the gopis. So with Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, then the goddess Shri is by his side, on his left side. But with Krishna, she only becomes this mark on the chest.
So, on the neophyte state, very often we fight with this problem to make choice, because we have some general direction from Guru, but we can't ask all the time about all details, so it's sometimes troublesome to make choice, and we should act sometimes a little bit blindly and like this. And
no, you need to have intelligence. He needs to have intelligence. Forgot. This is why we need to have intelligence. So intelligence means guidance from within the heart. The spiritual master is the external representative of Paramatma. And his program is just to reveal to us, just to help us tune in, you know, like a radio, tuning in to the Chaitya Guru, the Lord in the heart. I find in Prabhupada's letters, there's so and especially his letters, he's explaining this so many times. Some of these letters are they're astonishing because Prabhupada seems to be so much minimizing his own position. Just as you were saying, Prabhupada also was saying, I am here just to give general direction, but the real thing is to, by loving devotional service, is to connect with Krishna in the heart and receive from him inspiration. And this is how it is that the spiritual master can feel that the disciple is becoming more advanced than even he. As Ishwara Puri considered Lord Chaitanya, his disciple, to be more advanced than he. Prabhupada actually said that this is the duty of the disciple to make the spiritual master think that way. So, yeah, it's actually not difficult to understand, but it is a little confidential. For those who look at everything very externally, this seems quite confidential. But when we come to a more, it's not esoteric, it's just personal. When one comes to a more personal stage of Krishna consciousness, then it's very clear. See, there is this element. Yes, it seems a little mysterious, but it's personal. That's all. Just in this connection, I was thinking about this morning. In this connection, sometimes it is seen that spiritual master will have some disciples who are not very well situated in sadhana bhakti. Yet still he's showing them very much mercy. This was sometimes seen with Srila Prabhupada and some of his disciples. So, you know, if one looks at this externally, just from points of view of rules and regulations, then it's a little hard to follow. But the spiritual master sees more than just rules and regulations. He sees the heart. So, someone's heart may be hard. So this person has a kind of very sharp intellect, and is, you know, very strict, and follows all the principles very exactly. But because the heart is hard, the spiritual master is a little distant from that person still.
Но понеже сърцето е твърдо, тогава духовното е малко настрана.
Not exactly. I don't actually mean distant, but you can say the spiritual master is waiting for something to happen with his disciple. Because the heart should not be hard. Actually, devotees have, it is said that their hearts are like like ghee, like soft butter. Very easily melt. And then there's another disciple who is not so strict, who has difficulty even to follow the principles. But the heart is soft. There's some sentiment for the spiritual master and for Krishna. So the spiritual master feels inclined to help such disciple, to show this disciple a lot of mercy. And on the other side, the one with the hard heart may be wondering, why does Guru Maharaj spend so much time with that one, and that one doesn't even follow, I know, doesn't even chant rounds all the time, and has so many problems, and I'm doing everything very perfectly. The spiritual master is that one who is strictly following and yet has soft heart. To that one, the spiritual master feels confident to give great responsibility. To either of the other, it's a little, one has to be cautious to give responsibility. To the one with a soft heart, but who doesn't follow, the responsibility will just crush them. And to the other one with a hard heart who's following, then the responsibility makes them very puffed up, and they start to harass others.
Към другите две групи много внимателно, към тези, които имат меко сърце, отговорност може да ги смажат, а към другата група могат да ги направят горди.
Шрила Прабхупад ки джай!
Посвещаване.